Hello everyone, today we are going to do Masteries 11 and 12, which are calling C++ functions and creating them too. Alright, so this might seem a little bit weird since you usually create C++ functions and then call them, so that's what we are going to do right here. And in this video we're also going to show both as opposed to the usual showing one in each video. So, alright, let's go ahead and open Atom. And what what pops up? Our first beloved C++ file, the I am banana print. Alright, so in order to know what we are working with, we have to know exactly what a function is. So a function can do one of two things. It can either return a value which the user will give, um, or the coder himself, um, or it can be what's called a void function, which does not return any value. It just prints out something that you want it to print. So we're gonna go ahead and see examples of that exactly. Right here, there's a void function, and what it does is this is defined, but there are also um, void functions which do not have a domain. This one does have one, precisely because um, it is a condition. It's an if and else condition, and if the variable that it's right here determined um, down the line actually, because you need to first put the functions and then write them in the main code, and that's what it does. It puts if Celsius is greater or equal to 100, then it will print this, but it will not return any value. So those are the two types of functions. Alright, and the other one, for example, we have right here. Uh, so I want a program that will triple my money, for example, or triple any value. So these kinds of functions will be anything. It could also have been a double, for example, or a float. Oh, this wasn't supposed to happen. I'm sorry. Float. Um, and this right here, the first one, how you define the function is what the function is going to be. And the one right here in parentheses is what the value that you are giving it is going to be. So right here, we are going to put in an integer, but we are going to be given a float back. Alright? But for the sake of simplicity, we leave it both as integers. Alright? So let's go ahead and try to make a function of our own. We're going to have int main. Let's go with void. Void, and one very important thing also, you need to name functions. If I were to put just int right here, right over here, and not name it because this function is called triple money, then it would tell me, what are you doing? You were just giving me int and then int x again, just like that. That does not work. So you have to name functions. And we're going to name this print banana. And this is a type of function that will have no domain in it, and no parameter as well, because we're just going to print something for the sake of it. So we open these keys up and put cout sorry, I am banana 2, and winky face. We end the line, and we return 0 as well. So we can go ahead and, instead of doing this, we can call the function right here, and that's our 11th mastery, calling a function. So once you create a function, you have to call it, or you don't have to call it, but it helps if you are making a function to call it. So we're going to call it right here, print banana, do that, and we can call it multiple times actually, print banana, and 3 times. Let's go crazy with bananas. Banana. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and save it. We're going to run our terminal. List. That's very helpful to do all the time. C++ first.cpp. And there's been a mistake. Oh, what does it say right here? It says in the function void print banana, there is a declaration returned with a value in a function which returns in void. What's basically saying here is that we are not permitted to put a void type function that returns 0. So where's the mistake right here? Oh, right there. We returned something, and this is actually a pretty common mistakes in void functions. We tend to put return 0 most of the times, but that does not go right there because since it's a void function, it will not return any value. So instead, that return 0 will go as usual at the end, and that should be fine. Let's go ahead and save it and compile it again. Voila, there's been no mistakes, but let's run it to make sure. And there we go, we have our 3 I am bananas. I am banana 2. Very well. So, that's basically how void function works and how calling function works. Because I could have had this right here, and then a cout right here. As we can see, I did create a function, but what happens if I don't call it? I am going to output you did not call, mm, and he's sad because you did not call. So end line and return 0. Go ahead and save it. Compile it again. Huh, there are no mistakes. But why if we did not call the function? Well, let's figure out what happens. Oh, the function is sad because you did not call it. Well, you can actually do that. You can not call a function and everything will be alright. But then what's the use of making a function if you do not call it? Well, you can have it right there and it will compile just fine. But if you put in a function, then you might as well use it. But it's no biggie if you don't. Um, okay, so that's a void type function. Let's go ahead and do something a little bit more interesting. These functions, which do return values. So this right here is a program, as I said before, that triples your money. And what you're gonna do right here is do an int. Let's actually change it to a double, just because. And double and double and alright. With me double x. You need to do this and double. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and save it, and we are going to run it. We're going to do the list again, and this is actually funk because it's pretty funky. And we're going to run it, and it asks me how much money do you have. Okay, so let's say I have, I don't know, 520 pesos. So I enter it. We will triple it now. Your amount is 0. Wait, why does this happen? Oh, that's right, because I input an integer instead of a double. That's something you really should be careful. If you want them to write a double, make sure they write a double. Mm, Doubles, please. Because otherwise the user will not know what you're talking about. They can write banana and there will be a mistake, and this is what exactly will appear if I write banana. 0, because you can't really print bananas. you can have banana times 3. Well, you can, but banana is not currency. It is in some places, not right here. So let's compile it. Oh, sorry. Run it again, and actually put a double this time. 120.0, and we will triple now. Your new amount is 1560. 1560. Okay, so is that correct? Yeah, that is correct. But it does return me an integer instead of a double. And yep, you can actually have that. And it will be no biggie. So let's return it to the original state, which it was integers. Another integer, int distant. So I'm gonna explain right here what there is. So we have, this is the main body. It's actually bigger than what we have in the functions, but that's not normally the case. The case is normally that the main body of the code is just calling functions, so it's not gonna be that extensive. It's gonna be usually 3-4 lines long. But right here we are working with pretty easy functions. Right here with triple money, I could have also written 3 times 6, and no problem. It's still gonna triple my money. But since the multiplication operation is a bit trickier on C++ for the computer to do, it's easier to just write x plus x plus x. But nothing's gonna happen. It will still triple the money. And we also have a void function, which is called print money, and it just outputs your new amount is doubles please. I just realized this shouldn't have gone here. Yes, new amount is that, and how much do you have? Doubles, please. That's what it should have gone. Sorry. Um, okay, so how you need to think about functions, it's a little bit tricky because you always think of, okay, what do I want to do? I want to program that triples my money. And you do it, that is not hard. But then you say, okay, I also want, after you triple the money, to show what that amount is. So then you need to think it like that. What do you want it to do? And what do you exactly want it to show the user? Because if you just do it how we normally think, you do the main first, and then you put this line, your new amount is somewhere around here, and it can be a little bit confusing, so you won't know where to print the money. But that's why it's also better to just create the functions first and then call them. So as we see right here in the code, we have our integers, and we ask the user for an output, and we call our functions at the very end. So that's what we need to do. Alright, so just for the sake of repetition, let's compile the program because we did change it again and show it off one last time. You see, that little delay right there is because it compiled the 3 times x and it wasn't as fast as it would have x plus x plus x. But okay, let's say we have 500 pesos. There we go. Junior Master stats. Okay, so that's been creating following functions. I hope it was helpful and that you understood something new. I will see you in the next one. Thank you.